welcome to the Animal Science Lab. This is Miss Holland's classroom. Currently this year we are teaching companion animal science and equine science. This is why we have the hedgehog Wasabi here and Tina the turtle. And we also, in the previous years, we did intro to vet science as well as production animal. Things are a little different this year because of the coronavirus, so we only have these two animals here for companion animal science at the moment because we just redid our lab that I'll show you guys in a minute. But this class is very hands-on and we have a lot of fun here. You get to give these animals medicine, you take care of them, and the students are the ones that are giving them food on a daily basis. So the students have a lot of responsibility to come here, find time in their schedule, and feed the animals as long as cleaning their cages. This is the Animal Science Lab. We just got it redone. It's new floor and all new paint on the walls. We got a new caging system. So in the future, we're gonna be printing like a guinea pig, hamster, and stuff like that in here. But at the moment, most of our animals they're still at their summer homes because we don't know what's gonna happen with half online and half in person. So it's a little bit different right now, but you still get a lot of experience with the animals. Come on, guys.
Let's walk out to the barn. Welcome to our barn. Welcome to our barn. I'll introduce you to our animals. These are two of our adult breeding goats, Hazel and Acorn. These are our other two breeding goats. This is Brooke and this is Haley. And you can hear our donkeys in the background. These are two of the doelings we kept from last year. This is Cayenne and this is Poppy. These are our two miniature donkeys, Hickory and Hemlock. This is our miniature horse, April. And last but not least, we have our barn kitty, Lucky. We have two classes that mainly partake in the barn. The first is equine science and the second is production animal science. They rotate every year. So this year is equine science. So we're learning about the breeds, nutrition, body parts, and uses and careers. Next year will be production animal science, where we learn about production animals such as sheep, goats, pigs, cows, and chickens. And we talk about the breeds and how to identify them and their byproducts and uses. The responsibility of the animals is for the students to take care of. So we have a chore sheet that alternates students coming in the morning and night to do chores and feedings. During classes, we clean the stalls, and if you need extra SAE hours, you can come down after school and pick stalls. And it's a great responsibility to learn to take care of these animals and how to care for them if you did want to do something production animal or equine animal related in the future.
Hello, my name is Brian Visser. I am our chapter parliamentarian this year, and this is our aquaponics room. Right now we have 4 tanks. We have goldfish in these tanks in order to get the bacteria levels higher so we can have more production fish in the future, which is what our overall plan is in here. What these students are doing right now is cleaning the insides of the tanks to try to keep the algae down and just keep it clean. What happened in these tanks over here is there was an algal bloom, which right now we're putting off the sunlight to the tanks in order to try to kill the algae that's already grown in there. Eventually, when we have production fish in these tanks, they'll reach when they're mature, they'll reach a 1-to-1 food ratio, meaning 1 pound of fish will be, or 1 pound of food will equal 1 pound of fish, which is very efficient for food growth. This is a good way that in the future we'll be able to secure more food for everybody And I think by 2050, with our current production of food, we will not have enough food to feed the planet. And so aquaculture is a very helpful and efficient way that we're starting to pick up the slack a little bit. Some other day-to-day housekeeping that happens in here is making sure the filter system isn't clogged, and making sure the pipe isn't disconnected from the biofilter over here. As it does get clogged, it'll mess up the system. Usually water will be coming through here, and it's a sediment catcher, then it'll go back into the system like that. Natural resources classes, we have 4 main classes: fisheries and aquaculture, forestry management, wildlife management, and field ecology. Those are taught by our natural resource teacher, Mr. Farrell. We have a really great aquaculture program here. We have our own tanks to raise fish in. The other classes are very interesting. So in this room, we do 2 main things. We have our maple syrup as well as our apple cider. This is our maple syrup evaporator. When we tap trees and bring the sap in, it goes to a tank outside, which then gets run right into the building to the evaporator, which you want to heat it up and get all the water out. It starts out around like 2% sugar. You want to get it to around 66 to 68%. And to do that, you would run this through the evaporator till it gets about 7 degrees over the boiling point of water, in which case you'll take it out of the evaporator with this nozzle right here. It will be filtered out and then brought to our finishing vat over to our right side of this counter, which is just to fine tune the process and make sure everything is perfect the way you want it to be before you sell it to your customers. And as well, after you really put it in the finishing vat, you can test the sugar content using either the fluid tester, which is inside there, or this device right here, which is really just putting maple syrup on the lens and then looking through it like it's a telescope, and it'll tell you the exact sugar content it is, and you want to get right, like I said before, around 66 or 68. And then depending on how early in the year it is, you have to grade this, and the lighter it is, the earlier in the season it is, as the tree does not need to be left in the evaporator. This happens to be left in the evaporator for as long. The longer it's in the evaporator, the darker it will end up being. Usually we never really have any of the lighter maple syrup, but it all tastes really good and our customers seem to love it. And the other thing we do in this room is apple cider, which when we first get the apples in, we wash them to make sure there's no stuff on there that would cause problems, as our cider is unpasteurized. And from there, we put it into the press, which is over here, which you load the apples in the top, and you put a little shield over here so they don't fly back at you when you're chopping them. Then it'll press all the juice out after they're chopped up, and that will be filtered out again. And then we usually wait till all the cider is done for that day, which then is put into here and then bottled. And it needs to there's different flavors you get from each cider, as the apples are different. So when they sit in here, they kind of blend into one flavor, so it's more consistent throughout the whole batch. And even if you aren't in a food processing class, most every class comes down here and does these 2 things. It's a great learning experience, and really need the extra people to get all the orders in.
Welcome to the greenhouse. I'm Riley Webb, and I'm co-reported this year on the chapter officer team. So this is our head house. This is where we do a lot of repotting of plants and propagation, as well as holding some of our plant sales, such as during the holiday season, where we sell poinsettias and centerpieces, and like our spring sale where we sell hanging plants and other potted plants for the summer season. On to our next greenhouse. Where this year we have an overflow of poinsettias due to some construction in our main greenhouse. Normally, this greenhouse is a place where we maintain our hydroponics. My sophomore year, I took a fruit and vegetable production class, and we decided to grow some pineapples here. And we also grew some tomatoes, some cucumbers, and some green beans, all hydroponically. And we actually ended up getting to eat those crops at the end of the year. This is our second greenhouse. In here we have a lot of our tropical and foliage plants, such as aloe vera plants, cactuses, and other hanging plants, as you can see. This is our main production greenhouse, where we hold all of our seasonal crops. As you can see behind me, the poinsettias are finishing up their season, and in the spring we'll have our spring plants ready for our seasonal sale. This greenhouse is run by students who water, fertilize, and control pests in all of the crops. And this greenhouse is also under some construction right now. We're in the process of building some new benches, so the space in here is limited. This greenhouse is also run by a computer that automatically opens and closes vents and changes the temperature as the plants need it in our harsh conditions in New England. Hi guys, welcome to the Floral Lab. In here, students work with flowers and plant foliages to make seasonal decorative items. Students also learn the principles and elements of design, working hands-on with materials. We have done flowers for school and community events, such as graduation and awards ceremonies. We also go to the Big E and we make corsages there and sell them to the public. In here, we also create our centerpieces and some of our decorative items for the holiday season, such as Christmas. These stations are all equipped with the tools that a florist would need. We also have a cooler back there with plants to keep them cooled. Hi guys, this is our sales retail room. The FDA is the largest youth organization in America. In here we sell a lot of our merchandise where students can purchase that stuff with credit dollars they earn from selling stuff from our fundraisers.
So we also use nuts.
Yeah, we also sell nuts and maple syrup. The maple syrup which we produce right here at our chapter.
Welcome to the Ag Ed shop. This space is used by the Ag Ed students for lots of hands-on learning opportunities in the world of agricultural mechanics. Lots of different things that happen in here. This shop is set up into a couple different primary spaces. Back there we have our welding booths and our metal fabrication area. There's a woodworking and construction space. We do a lot of our small engine work and other maintenance of vehicles out here in this area. And we have tool storage and all the PPE that's needed to keep our students safe while they're learning with their hands. The ag mechanics students are very busy kids. They're responsible for maintaining our fleet of machines and equipment. It includes not just the skid steer and the tractor you see here, but we also have another Massey Ferguson tractor, a mini excavator, an RTV, and lots of land management and small outdoor power equipment machines. The agricultural mechanics curriculum includes classes in construction and fabrication, agricultural engineering, outdoor power equipment and small engines, and safe operation of agricultural equipment. We do a lot of work here in the shop. We also try to get the kids outdoors as well, working with those machines. Maybe I'll see you here in the shop someday. Thanks for visiting.